Hey, Abasing. Welcome. Happy Friday. Good evening to you. It's good evening. It's mid-afternoon for me, but yeah, time zones exist, so it's a bit loud for me. Let's turn it down a smidgen. There we go. Okay. I don't know how loud it is for you guys, but it should be okay. Okay. So the right microphone last time. Last stream it was on my webcam mic and the sound was weird. So yeah, I only noticed that when I watched the stream back for a bit. Should be okay. If I sound a bit strange, I'm having a bit of a cold. So yeah, it's I'm having a bit of the sniffles. So that's why my voice is a bit weird, I guess, today. Yeah, I did all of the featured contracts last time, so and there's nothing new out, I think. Let's see. Oh, it's him. Yeah. Featured. Let's see. Season of the Dragon. And it is today. What date is it? 17th. So, do we have anything new? Yeah, Bad Boys gone live today. Good. Twitch drops. So yeah, the crowbar is live. You can see that's right over there. Japanese Horror Tales. Oh, that's the 30th. Assassin's Curse featured. Yeah, I did those. Ooh. Oh, that's October 30th. Yeah. Right in the pie hole. I think I already did that. The pretzel. So I think I've done everything. Let's go to my inventory. Let's see. Career. Inventory. And then melee, I guess. Pretzel. I think I did it, but I'm not too sure now. Am I just glancing over it or don't I have it? If I don't have it, how do you get it? Here? Maybe it's somewhere here? No. So, let's see. The pretzel, pie in the hole. Where is that? Is this Sapienza? Gonna open a browser. Oh crap, it's opened up all the tabs. That's not what I wanted. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. Hey, Bandit. Welcome. So, yeah. Okay, why isn't that working? The IOI thing is... Let's see, where is that? What's new? Okay. Season of the Dragon roadmap. Right. Let's see. Okay. Colorado. Okay. Oh, is that where... Okay, I did not do that. Right. So, close this. Colorado. So let's go to Colorado. Not one of my favorite maps, but yeah. So, challenges. Uncompleted. It should somewhere be... Here it is. Knock down 3 targets by throwing small pumpkins while disguised as a militia cook. Okay. So... Let's see. Can I start as a militia cook or what? No. So I'll be starting here. I think that's the easiest part. So I just need to know where the pumpkins are. Let's go. Okay, let's go get us a cook outfit. Oh, while I'm here, I might as well take the propane tank with me. Wait. Oh, it's the other barn. It's in this corner. There we go. Propane and propane accessories. So let's get a militia cook outfit. He's right over there.
Command, got a possible 517. Moving in to investigate.
Oh, and now we're gonna get this dude that's gonna piss in the corner.
Give me a break.
Concerned citizen with a chip on his shoulder.
Let's see, militia cook. Okay, got it. There we go. Need to drop this, I guess. Give me a second. Hey, yippee-ki-yay. Give me a second, I'm talking to my son here.
Boss didn't start this out of charity, the hate run. I could take you in. Now move away.
Never trust a skinny chef.
That is Maya Parvati, Sri Lankan assassin turned pirate turned insurgent.
Have all night. Rose wants this and the other vehicle across the border ASAP. Plan hinges on this, so don't screw it up.
Working slowly to make sure everything is in order. Shouldn't be a problem. Get it done in time, boss. rat trap.
Well, you know, art comes in many guises.
So who's this next target?
That is Sean Rose, terrorist turned insurgent.
Go get him.
Wash the hands, count to 10. Wash the hands, count again. 10, and then again. Wash the hands, then count to 10.
How are you?
Yeah. They're giving those vans a real makeover.
See what that was. You're free to engage any tangos that might appear.
Acknowledge.
No, fuck.
I just feel like I could have made a difference. It won't be my first motorcade, you know.
I don't doubt that at all, man. Hell, I would have gone with you given half a chance.
No, I'm not asking for a free ticket or anything. Look. Okay. I know what you mean, but we can dump more in there than we think. That pit is deep. Don't worry, let's dig another hole then.
Really?
Okay. Whatever. No, not yet.
Mister, you should not be sneaking around here. You might get hurt.
Say what? Stay out of my way. You got a death wish, compadre? What are you gonna do about it, bitch? Huh? Wow. Oh. Phil, it's not funny anymore. Cut his head off!
Maya Parvati is down. Good work.
Anyone copy? Still looking. No sign of any perp.
Time to man up. We got trouble.
Roger, Wilco.
You heard anything from anybody else? Over.
That is Penelope Graves, acclaimed anti-terror analyst. Strange to see her as part of this crowd.
Try it again.
You need to step back a few steps, sir.
Been around the same group of people 24/7.
Okay, can you just
Taking its toll.
leave me alone for a few minutes? I've got some
There's
thinking
this new
to do.
guy on our team who's...
I'm sure Rose won't mind. Hi, I'm Penelope Graves. Now, you look like you've been part of the crew for a while. Just, wondering how you're finding it here. Sean Rose, okay to work with?
He's all right. He can be a bit of a hard ass from time to time. But I guess the stress of building all those bombs needs to get channeled out somehow, right?
I suspect you can't be alone thinking that. How's his relationship with the others?
I know there's been talk about this OCD and how it might be affecting him. Apart from that, I ain't heard much.
Excuse me? Well, that was a little bit rude.
Mexico.
Reykjavik. Security for Olivia Hall on the Hanson oil operation.
She's the boss of the project.
You are trespassing on private property. Yeah, that's more like it. Don't come...
Brentwood. Take point.
Roger that.
And that moment rises. Rise precisely because someone should get maybe she gets chatty.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
So what's this I hear about a training accident? That would be Burgess, the sharpshooter. Point man in the Mexico operation? Huh. Got clipped by a ram or something? Training for the battery.
That is Ezra Berg, former Mossad interrogator. His services are in demand at the moment.
Oh, you're back. Great. So, listen, I've been thinking maybe the dosage is just wrong. Did you check?
I appreciate you.
Okay.
First thing I did.
Of course you did. I'm so dumb.
Command,
Sorry.
just heard a strange noise.
So
I'm gonna
maybe
check
there's
it out.
something wrong with the delivery
Please stand
system?
by.
Again, I also checked that. Listen, I appreciate your interest in my work, but it's a little hard
Let
to
this get
focus
to
on
you.
these questions.
Not a problem. I'll just observe. It's really similar to what you work. I've always wanted to get into interrogation.
Is that so?
I do not want to know what you are planning.
Electricity and breaking bones. It isn't my deal at all. No, more like the subtle stuff, indirect stuff that you do.
I understand. What the secret is,
Absolutely.
keep it quiet. Let the subject talk.
Oh,
This area is restricted, sir. Help! Somebody help me!
Ezra Berg has been eliminated. Good work, 47.
Command, you copy?
I'm at the location now, and I have nothing to report. Over.
Affirmative. Moving on. Out. Arm up. Nothing here. That's affirmative.
Command, area is clear. Please advise. Over.
How unfortunate. That will affect your final payment.
This is it. It's getting real
UPPR
outside.
underscore tracker
Command,
just
I've arrived at
redeemed
the
how
location,
unfortunate.
and it looks clear. Clear.
Search for me. Move out. Received and understood. JHQ, I have nothing to report from my current location.
ETA at extract and 7 mics.
Control, out.
Okay, here's a scenario. Say a pub.
Hey, what's for dinner, Cookie?
Weird, weird. Yupikiati_trucker just redeemed Weird Weird.
Sorry. I am so sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I was talking to my son about shipping. You need to be exchanged.
If there's anyone here, show
They're not. And so I muted myself, but yeah, I forgot to turn it back on. That's a hairy business over there. Oh, fuck me.
Where's the tango? Report! He's not here! Anyone got a visual on the target?
Oh, crap. Oh, boy. Oh, fuck. Wrong one. Crap. Crap. Okay, let's see if there's some stuff in the kitchen of the mansion. That is the only starting point in the mansion, right? Yes, okay. So, I don't need a lockpick. I need coins. Let's go here. There might be a contract for this challenge, okay. I thought it might be, okay, let's go, let's see. Oh.
Hey, who are you? I haven't seen
Crap. Yeah, I could look up a pretzel contract. That might be because I don't like dealing with the main guys. Let's see if they hit a pumpkin over here. No. Okay. Kitchen downstairs.
It's actually quite brilliant in all its improvised glory.
Aha, there's one. Okay, got it. Just collecting stuff, just for the heck of it.
Very specific. It's beautiful tech for assassins.
Oh.
Question for later. So, the spiring, infamous Iago. The boss somehow gets access to their dossier of secrets. And well, this is how he learns about the enemy's projects in Italy and Morocco. But why kill the Iago leaders? Novikov and Margolis were unaffiliated. The Russian must have seen the boss's face. And the enemy has to have known about Iago. Probably even used their services from time to time.
Oh my god.
It was a precaution. Nothing more.
Oh great, that's turning into Grand Central Station here.
Huh? Hey,
I'm not really sure I've seen you before.
Don't touch me!
Stay down.
Don't touch me! Help!
Sound the perimeter.
God damn it. Why does there have to be so many people there at once? It's gotta be a joke, right? Where is she?
2, 3.
It's actually quite brilliant in all its improvised glory.
What if I...
Cobb, the bank director, his plane crashed.
Whoa! Oh my God, no way! Someone help! Help!
Okay. I just need to knock him down. I can kill her later.
We could be complicit.
Okay. Oh, I needed to do it as the cook. No, this doesn't work. Okay. Exit the menu. Let's see if there's a contract for this one. Game modes, contract, search, pretzel. There's a pretzel town, pretzel challenge. Okay. Eliminate using an assault rifle. In the hay shed maybe, because I need this pickup. So sudden farm perimeter check. Redborn. Yeah, exactly right. Assault rifles, because I need a silent one like this. Okay. And then I'm starting, where shall I start? Undercover by the greenhouse? I don't know what's closest, so yeah. I'm not really familiar with the stash spots on this map, so I'm just gonna see what's what. Where is that? The Red Barn map. Let's see, so is this my stash? Over here. It's up there. Oh my god. I'm starting to doubt the wisdom of my stash spot, but okay. Let's see. Oh, it's up there. It's up there. Inside the door. Yes. Okay. Let's get that out of there. Cool. So now, let's see. There was a pumpkin somewhere on the floor. Oh, that's where Limpy is. That's where I can get a pumpkin. And then there's two more in the cooking area. Let's see. That's an axe. Just making sure there's no pumpkins right here. No. Oh, they're all over there. How convenient. So there was one on the floor. Oh yeah. Let's see, there were pumpkins. Oh, there's the pumpkins. Yeah, yeah. Okay, coin.
You, go.
I hear you, 5x5.
Strange. Okay. Huh?
Oh, don't tell me I can't carry the gun as the cook. Whew. Almost got spotted there. Oh, I can. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. Get the pumpkins. Get the pumpkins. It's two. Okay, and there's one over there. You can, yeah, I get it. Probably because everybody can carry a gun in this space. There was a pumpkin here somewhere. Over there. Got it. Alrighty then. That way. Except hackers, yeah, okay. I can kind of get behind that. Sean Rose in charge of operations. You gotta be. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Nico. Nico Robin.
You gotta get swifty in here. It's time to get swifty.
Don't let him get away!
Roger.
Oh, why are you firing at me? Crap. Crap! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to go upstairs in that other thing, so let's see. Pick up southern form. Is this where I am? Is this where the guys are? The southern perimeter? I think it is. Pick up that. Pick up, yeah, Western Bridge now. Assault rifles. Silenced, okay. Wait. Yeah, it's because I missed. Okay. Yeah. Go get the outfit first. Coin.
Check it out.
Oh, he is carrying a gun himself, so yeah. Quickly before Piss Boy comes. Okay, so now where is my stash? Right, it's near them. Okay, cool. Get this. Yes. Okay, and get from here. Let's see, it should be right over here, right? Oh wait, it's over here. Over here. Get it? Good. Now, let's see if we can do this without messing it up. Let's see, what stash is over there.
Sean Rose in charge of operations. I don't get it. Why did the boss pick him?
Why did the boss pick him?
Freak in the mask. What the hell are you talking about?
I was just at the security station watching it.
No. So it should be right here. Yeah, retrieve. Let's drop this thing.
What the hell?
Command, apparently there's a guy out there being a real pain in the ass.
A bitch!
What was that?
Y'all be quiet now. Let's avoid the camera. There we go. That should do it. The semi-automatic one? Yeah, I could have... No, one-shot the AR silence. That would be good. But well, we got it under control anyway. Oh, I need to be a militia technician? Oh, you fuckers. Okay. Okay, so, okay. There we go. They changed it up. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Since we're playing this anyway. Oh. God damn it. Coin. Coin the dude.
Hey, I think I heard something over there. Check it out.
No problem. What?
Why am I doing this? I don't need your outfit. Oh. Why? Oh, god damn it. Okay. So the only thing I need to go over there for is the pumpkins.
Weird.
Weird, yeah. I'm just an idiot.
_tracker just redeemed. Weird.
Okay. Pumpkins. Cool. I'll get the pumpkin from this dude. Unless there's pumpkins in the near the end. The grunts are here. What are you calling a grunt? Grunt. Okay. Sean Rose in charge of operations. What if I do this? Okay, let's get the gun here. Oh, he's gonna see, right?
Thumbs up. Whoa!
He isn't.
Give up.
Ah. Okay. Semi-automatic. Let's see. Assault rifle. So which one is semi? I need the silenced one. Why isn't this silenced? Oh, this one? Attack Desert. Is that semi-automatic? Crap. Assault rifles. Full automatic. No. How about this one? Full automatic. This one. Semi-automatic. There we go. That should do it. There's no pumpkins over there, right?
Yes, it is. I'm glad you asked. We have this old man on vacation. Diabetic.
Right. Basically, I just need to knock him down and then shoot him in the head or something, but yeah. There we go. Now. Coin the dude. I'm looking for pumpkins because I need to do the... Oh, right. I just need to kill him, right? Because I already have that. Well, that's my 200 IQ there, right there.
Freak in the mask. What the hell are you talking
I don't need it anymore. So I could probably start over there to do this more quickly, but yeah. Oh well. I wanted to do it in the spirit of the contract, right? So let's assume that just knocked him out. Okay, so we've got the pretzel. Now what? Anybody has a contract for me? Just let me know what's going on here. Yeah. Monthly roadmap. I already looked at that. So contracts, and then what's trending? I guess XP form. Seeing double this ICA facility. It says ICA, but is it really the ICA? Un contract a été placé, vous avez... Okay. It's a default briefing. ICA. I don't like the ICA facilities. Planning. Oh, this is Wilden Creek. Oh, maybe... Planning. Where is this? Oh, this is the... Yeah, okay, this is training. Any disguise, okay. SMG, pistol, fire. Emmanuel Brun. Okay, so let's go. Themed. Yeah. And let's take the tool, right? Oil, okay. And then that's for him. I need an SMG and a pistol. Where the fuck am I gonna get an SMG? Probably in the house, but I really don't want to go into the house. Pistol I've got. Oh. Wait a minute. SMGs. Nice and gaudy. Yeah, so smuggle that. So I've got the SMG, I've got a pistol, and whatever. Do not change your disguise. Okay. No knockouts. Okay. Chronic. Let's go. From the second target. Does he has an? I gotta kill him with an SMG while he has. Well, and I can't knock him out. So how am I gonna get them to drop him? That's not real fun. Oh, and then how the hell am I going to? Oh, he's SMG. Okay.
Man, I just heard a weird noise. To investigate.
Oh my god, now I got that lady coming in. Okay. I'm gonna turn this around. I'm gonna put the oil canister here. Let's see, because that's not what I need right now. So that is a tool. And we're gonna put it right there. And then I'm gonna take the SMG here. There, okay. Right, let's go. By the way, if you're wondering about the Whittleton Creek map being all Halloween and dark, that's a mod. You can find that on Nexus Mods. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a really cool looking mod they did here.
We'll keep you posted.
Oh god, now I'm having to deal with that lady over there.
Oh no, you don't! You have to stall! That stings! Ah!
This fucking lady, man. She's a big pain in the ass. Sir, I need you to come over here.
What? What is that? Command, I just heard something. I don't know. I'm gonna go check it out.
Oh, you got Mr. Mysterious over there.
Ah, come on. Well, like I haven't been here before.
Okay. Oh, I got a pistol right there. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's put the covert back in its place. Okay. Cool. Now, what is your problem? You are fire.
Okay.
I have to tell you, these are the best muffins I ever had. I'm supposed to meet a client for a house showing today, but I can't stop eating.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Mr. Nolan Cassidy? Say that I... Well, he's invested in the Schmidt house down the road.
Seems like someone forgot
The one
this.
that police are down.
I'll just leave it with you, okay?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know anything.
Jeez.
Well, never mind. We can wait a little longer. I need to squeeze a couple more of these beauties down.
Hello, Command. Can you send someone to my position? And don't send Ramirez. That guy's a moron. Yeah, send someone who's got a brain. Because he's an idiot. Thank you.
God damn it. Oh, fucker. He's coming in here.
This is not happening.
Fuck. Hey, Shardy, welcome.
That is Nolan Cassidy, former Secret Service agent and current Providence Herald. Cassidy is assigned to protect James.
Where's my puddle over here? Okay.
What? Hey, buddy. All clear. You dropped something. Who might you be? I don't know you. Hey! God damn it. Area clear. Proceeding to next sector. Show yourself! It's up to you whether this ends good or bad.
Yeah. As long as nobody else panics, come in here.
Proceeding to next sector.
There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Hola. One of our muffins. Yeah, there's pumpkins now. Let's just take that. Okay. Okay, so... What is it? It's one of the... Oh, it's not the garbage men. The garbage men are over there. What is his problem? He's all the way over there. Pistol. Okay. How am I gonna do that? Lure him in here, I guess?
Huh? Thought I heard something. Checking it out. Over. Come on, give me a break.
Oh, they saw that.
Shooting at the civilians! Get to him now!
Get him in your sight. Pull that trigger, Jack.
Need a medic here!
SMG, yeah. So, we can get the pistol from the other dude. So what if... SMG... What if I take this one? And then I can just do the... oil canister here, so I don't have to go to the lady. And this one I can just hide on my person. Yeah, that should be good. So I could probably just do...
What the hell is...
Before the other dude comes here. Okay. Where's my briefcase? Over here. Okay, cool. Now, this dude.
I can't stop eating. Maybe you know him. Mr. Nolan Cassidy? Can't say that I do. Well, he's actually in the big house down the road. You know, the one that went down on.
Wow.
I'm not really from around here.
Command, I've heard something weird. I'm gonna go check it out.
Never mind. We can wait a little longer. I expect a couple more of these beauties down.
Okay.
Hola, señor. Feel
Hola. Easy peasy. Now, Mr. Policeman over here. I'm way ahead of the walkers, so that should be okay. Let's go see. Wat is het?
We've got a possible intruder. Sweeping area. Over.
Oké.
Basis logistiek niet mogelijk om het verdiend. Wel kan ik er maken ze dat.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Ja, maar dan zit je dus dat...
Die kort.
Ja.
Ja, dus ik heb nu dit erop teruggestuurd.
Het is een item dat de korting nu helemaal uitverkocht is. Dus zou die boek weer opnieuw moeten bestellen. 130 euro moeten bijleggen omdat ik een verkeerde maat heb binnengekregen. Nou, 200 euro bij, want hij was toch 300 euro normaal?
Ja, 275. Bijna euro.
Ja, dus dan is dat bijna 150 euro.
Ja.
Ja, oké. Dat ik een verkeerde maat heb binnengekregen. Als ik hem nu kan omruilen, omdat ik zelf verkeerde maat had besteld, is het anders. Maar jullie hebben mij een verkeerde maat opgestuurd. Ja, precies.
Ja, dus dat heb ik teruggestuurd.
Ja.
Maar daar heb ik nog niks op terug.
Ja, oké.
Oké, ik ben weg. Ik ben weg.
Oké. Doei. Oké.
There's not enough oxygen here for the two of us.
That should work right.
Buddy, it's me. You called? Yes, I know they're coming for dinner. I have to finish.
Let's see, does that count?
Between Janus and another resident.
Yes, it does. And get the silence pistol easy, yeah, from the first dude, right? Got it. So SMG for him and whatever for the other. Where are they? Up there? Where's the other one? All the way over there. I swear I have a license for it. Oh, he's upstairs.
My property. I need it to get rid of an aggressively invasive mole in this poor old man's backyard. Calm down, demolition.
Oh, that's not too hard. That's not hard. Okay. SMG, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, look. A duck. Okay, so now I need to go all the way back to there. Do 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 do.
Hola, señor. Feel free to taste one of our sample muffins.
I like that they also put like this guy, people in the costumes in, like the magician and people with masks and the other outfit. Oh, it's the guard that stands over there. Okay. He's any.
Hey, you guys haven't been poking around the frog habitat behind the house, have you? No. Oh, okay, great. It's just that, well, I saw one of those security people from... Okay. You stay here and try not to get in my way, all right? Exactly. You think I'm insane? Of course I'm gonna stay right here. Huh. Who's breaking stuff?
There we go. Hey Bart, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Welcome, welcome. You played Wreckfest? No. Is that a Destruction Derby kind of game? Because it does ring a bell. I used to play Flat Out. Yeah, that was fun. That was kind of so. I think that's kind of like Wreckfest. Cool. So that was fun. Number 7 on the globals. Huh, not too bad. It's similar to Flat Out. Yeah, see that then I'm remembering the right game. Yeah, no, I haven't played that, but we did. We used to do LAN parties, and then we would play Flat Out and do the Destruction Derby stuff with a lot of people. That was fun. And also the races were fun, but the Destruction Derby kind of thing, that was really cool. Okay, so if any of you guys have a contract for me and it's on Epic, let me know and I will play it. Or at least make an attempt to to bring it. Should be possible to do a silent assassin though, so. And no modified contracts where you have to kill the entire map. Maximum of 5 targets, please. Thank you very much. So let's see. What else is trending? So this, that one. What's this? Oh, that is... No, I don't like the ICA training map. Bangkok Versatile. Okay, sounds good. Bangkok Versatile. No contracts found. Did I type it wrong? Did you type it wrong? Copy paste. Ah, there it is. I just made it. Versatile Assassin, Bangkok Versatile. Okay. Let's see. Are you a versatile assassin? Let's see. I need my OBS back. There we go. Bangkok, yeah. So when I copy pasted it, then I saw Fiberwire Assassin, Drowning, Pistol, and Poison. Oh boy. Okay. So Fiberwire. Let's go with the classic. Accident, so anything that blows up or if he falls or something. Yeah, okay. Drowning, so that means maybe making him sick. Okay. Pistol, I have that, and poison. So... Oh, which version of the map is this? Oh, okay. Gardner. Wondering if I should put it here or in my suite. I have no idea where these people are, so... Poisons. Lethal poison. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, there's an ad break going on, but I don't see it on my non-logged in stream. That's weird. So the ad break stuff is not really reliable.
Welcome, sir. We are
Oh. They're all on the edge. And in disguise, okay. Trying to figure out what's the best. So they're all down there. Oh. Okay, let's replan this. Instead of starting here, I can start here. I thought I could start in the cellar, but Apparently not. Okay, let's start over here then. And then this can go where? South wing basement. Oh. Let me see. Poisons. Okay, let's try this out. Let's try that out. Okay, everybody should be back if they had an ad break. Otherwise, my Twitch ad break informer is not right. Okay. So what is his problem?
Well, you're no
Oh, he's poison. Crap. So I'm better off getting the poison directly. He needs to be an accident. Okay, so I can use this for that. That's okay. Okay, and where is my stash? Over there.
This piece of crap for like an amount of money.
Mr. Gorilla, please don't shoot me while I pick up the underwear.
Wait, what? Oh, the stock room. This isn't the stock room. Oh, it's over here. Okay. I need to bring my little syringe. Poisons over here. I can smuggle this. This is too far out of the way. Restroom is easy. Don't know which is closer by. I think this. Then I have to go in there, and the dude doesn't like me there, but okay. Let's take this over here. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Distractions.
Well, you're no quitter. I've got to give you that.
Look, I can fix this. I'm homing in on the problem. I just got. Damn it! Yeah,
Oh, he saw that from all the way over there. Crap. I was so hoping he wouldn't see that. Crap. Crappity crap, crap, crap.
I've got to give you that.
Look, I can fix this. I'm homing in on the problem. I just gotta. Damn it!
Are you sure you don't want to ride home?
How the hell does he see that from all the way over there?
Hey! We don't just throw shit around here, okay? Please behave. We might have a situation. I'll check.
And now he's gonna see that, right? Oh, he isn't. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I gotta get down there. Alright. Oh, no, 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 no. I need to get my durian first.
Hello there.
Hey Panda, welcome, happy Friday.
We might have some disturbance.
Okay.
I mean, okay, yeah, sure, it knocked you out for a bit. I guess it's a headache, probably, but...
Alrighty then, so now we go downstairs. How you doing, Panda? Hope you're having a wonderful day. These fiber wire, okay. I'm just on patrol here. Come on, yeah. It's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, days just keep getting better. Well, it's the best day of your life, dude. It's not getting any better from here on out. Sorry about that. Okay. So, oh, he doesn't like me. Oh, it's him. He's pistol. Okay. Easy enough. I don't think anybody comes back here, but just to be sure. Whoop. Okay, that leaves him. He's the drowning. Yeah.
I hope it wasn't disgusting.
No, it's just stupid. Someone left their wallet.
Okay, he should go in there. Come on, dude. You good? Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Simi. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. It's time to get swifty. There we go. Now, let's get the F out of here. Boink. There we go. Got it. Right, guys, give me a second. I need something to drink because my throat hurts a bit. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. There we go. Told you it wouldn't be long. And I've got myself a bit of fruit juice, so... Right, okay, cool. Number 2. Why not number 1 with that strategy? Of course, Charlie did in 2.5 minutes. What? That much faster? Yeah, I was running around a bit, I guess. Nicely done. Oh, these are close together. I only beat out Shrimpy by like 3 seconds. Cool, well done everybody. Well done. Party Busters, okay. Let's check it out. Okay, modes, contracts, and then search. Party Busters. There we go, Dartmoor, okay. Good day, 47. Your targets are disturbing the party's vibe. Eliminate them before they ruin it completely. Bashardi Waffles. Accident, 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 accident. Yeah. Can't upset the guests. They're all accidents. Okay. I am going to take some tools, because this is definitely a thing. I'm gonna take a proximity taser because he will pick that up. I can take one for him too. Proxy taser, stash here. Tools, remote taser. Okay. I'll have to figure out what I do with him and him. Well, one of the two I can burn probably, so yeah. Oh, and there's that propane tank, of course. There's two propane tanks. Well, if I shoot the gas tank, that's also considered an accident, right? I don't have to, like, burn them. Boom. Oh, he's right there. Okay. Bloop, bloop. Wait. Ugh. I'm an idiot. Sometimes these things don't work like they should. Sometimes this one's highlighted and your mouse is over here, and if you click it, then the other one is clicked. And I guess that...
Hey. Donut just redeemed hello mother effer.
Hey Donut. Thank you so much for the follow. Nini Livo. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but yeah, thank you so much. Tools, yeah, I need this. Right, and then no fiber wire. Over here I'm gonna take the taser, this one. There, that should be right. Okay. But I'm giving him the taser because he will pick it up. Let's see, over there. Give you a taser. There, have fun with that. What are you? Oh. Oh, I can give you the other taser that I stashed over here. I'm gonna get some coins here. I don't know if I'll need them, but I'll pick them up just the same. Okay. He's dead, and they're on the other side, so that's good. I can pick up a propane tank here. There should be one right here. Yes. So that's probably all I need. Maybe I don't even need to bring a canister because there's another propane tank over there. Yeah. Whee! This is gonna be a thing. Oh wait, maybe What if I do this? Here, there's a... No. What if I do... this? Hmm. That one's closer. I can go all the way there, but this one's closer. Maybe it's better to go the other way around. Because then you're close to the exit. You can see that I'm not a speedrunner, right? A long time no see. Yeah, thank you for being here, man. Good to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. There we go. Thank you, Shorty. That was weird. Number 2. Okay, let's see. How fast did you do it? Iffy. Oh, friends. In 3:06. Well, I'm hot on your tail. If I didn't... I could... Weird. I could do that. Iffy in 1:34.
Score just redeemed. Weird.
Wow. Because we could go the other way around and then you end up near the bridge and then you're exiting that way. And then... could get that one with the blow up. Oh well. What's going on here? I'm getting all kinds of... Oh, wait, I had a message on my WhatsApp. Who is messaging me? What the... Why is my phone acting up? I guess it's my kid. Okay. Let's see. Game modes, contracts. What phone do you have? I have a Red Note 13 5G Pro. So it's a relatively cheap phone, but it does what it needs to do. 5G. And I was swiping somewhere and it, I think I just did the wrong gesture. So yeah. It's nothing special, but yeah. It's like a fifth of the cost of a new iPhone or a new Samsung Galaxy 24, whatever. It's only like $300, but yeah, it does what it does. And it's plenty fast for me, so it's good enough.
Hello there.
Hey, Corrido. Happy Friday. Contracts. Trending search. Let's see. I can do my friends, yeah. So I've done Dartmoor and I've done Colorado. Shall we check out Chongqing? By contracts from one of my friends. Let's see. Cutthroat competition. The accidental hitman. Okay. Good day, 47. Another one by Shardy. We're headed to Chongqing, I think it's pronounced, for eliminating a new set of targets. All kills should look like accidents and each accident should be different. Fall, electrocution, drowning, fire and explosion. Do I need to bring my own fire for this or is there something nearby? I have no idea where he is. No idea where any others get. Yeah, maybe he's the cook. He needs a fall. Electrocution. So let's take an electrocuting thing. Tools. Micro taser. Drowning. Fire. Explosion. I really want to have the coin. Let's see. I have to bring my own. Why? Crap. Stash. I can put that right there, right? Tools. No, because I need a pickup for that and not a stash. Oh, there's coins on the map, so I don't need to bring a coin. So I can bring a container with a tool. No, that's not the tool. These are tools. Well, canister, right. Okay. Could start here, but then I can't take. I could start here. We'll start here. We'll see. We'll see how this pans out.
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag?
Sorry.
All over there. Okay. Oh, will he come out if I like?
Shit.
It's this one, right? Yeah, right. Oh, it's the wrong one. She's explosion. I needed him. He's drowning. Oh, it's him. Right. And she's accidental electrocution. What is your thing? Fire. I thought he was on this side and she was over there. No, it isn't. Okay. Ideas.
Hi, I'm Chen-Ting. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide on the facility floor.
Spare me the pleasantries. 9 hours delayed, luggage lost somewhere along the way, and the airline is trying to avoid the responsibility. And I want to straighten everything out before I'm doing the autopsy.
Yes, so sorry about your flight. Just already.
Oh.
Just let me know when you're ready. Oh, did you bring...
Crap. And just like that, it's Grand Central Station.
It's procedure.
It's
Please
procedure.
before you come and find me. I'll be waiting by the stairs in the back of the restaurant kitchen.
Crap.
How am I supposed to focus when the kitchen feels like a train station?
Find your inner zen. Close your eyes and focus your mind on the
Where is this? It's over here. So, Crap.
Have you seen a girl around?
Okay.
Short hair.
I have ideas. I have ideas.
Oh, this chef outfit is really uncomfortable.
Shit. Today's code. Come on, think. Definitely 01.
Crap. I need to be down there. Yeah, and if I shoot now, he will be panicking, so... And the problem is if I... And the lady is gonna be a problem. Oh, crap. Okay, we can work with it. We can work around this. Should not be a problem.
Oh, this chef outfit is really uncomfortable.
Let's see, she's looking this way, so...
Shit. What's today's code? Come on, think. No, definitely 01 something.
Whatever.
Yes, got it. 011 feet.
Hey, wait a minute.
Okay, so I've got that one under control. Now she is electrocution, so... Now she's explosion. Okay. It's yoinking time, exactly. Yoink him off. Okay.
Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chelsea. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide on the facility floor.
Spare me the I have been all for flush. 9 hours of 8.
Where do I make an explosion here? Okay, let's get this first.
And I will just take everything out before I'm doing this.
Yes, so sorry about your flight. Just let me know, what?
Excuse
Oh,
me,
hey,
sir.
You forgot.
Who I
Huh?
Crap. Oh boy. Yeah, going out that door isn't... and it doesn't break if you're crouched. So that is That's my bad. We'll get there. Sorry, lady, I haven't seen a girl with short hair and a green bag. You know, this is a real place. Chongqing exists. It's a really interesting place. You should look it up on YouTube. They have a very interesting height difference. Oh crap.
Definitely 01 something. 18?
Nah.
Oh, yes. Got it. 0118.
God damn it. Wonder why I even... Ah, because of the oil canister. Okay. Accidental explosion. Drowning. Electrocution. Fire. Let's go here.
Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chensi. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide on the facility tour.
Spare me the pleasantry. I've had an awful flight. Luggage lost somewhere along the way, and the airline is trying to avoid their return. I'm hungry and I'm tired, and I want to straighten everything out before I'm doing your tour.
Yes, so sorry about your flight. Just a...
Okay.
Throwing their junk around.
God, I don't feel so
for
good.
long.
Oh, they're both sick?
Okay.
Hey! Oh.
She will come back. Crap.
Why are you dragging that person? Hey! What the hell? You can't beat people down like that.
Crap. I just should have let her come in here and then see her knock her out. I can knock people out, right? Yeah. Okay. So that is the plan. Drown him. Don't do anything. She will come back. Unless they turn around, of course. So 10 to 1 they switch it around. So she will come in here puking.
Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't need the briefcase. Well, I do need the briefcase.
Definitely 01 something. 18? Huh? Oh my god. Bad accident. Just try and breathe normally. I'm gonna go get someone to help.
Okay. Try to breathe normally. His neck's broken, lady. He doesn't breathe.
Can I get some help over here, please?
Can I shoot the stove, make it leak, or do I really need a wrench for that?
Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chensi. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide on the facility.
Spare me the pleasantry. I've had an awful flight. Luggage lost somewhere along the way.
Wrench needed. Bugger.
I wasn't informed that I should.
Oh, very sorry, Mr. Pritchard.
No! How did it lock onto his head? It was out of frame. Oh my god. Is there a wrench nearby? God damn it.
Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
Did I smuggle anything? I already forgot. I took the for him. There's a carberry and a wrench near the arcade arena. Oh.
Oh, this chef outfit is very uncomfortable.
Shit.
Come on. No. Definitely 01 something. 18?
Yoink.
Oh my god. Jesus. Hold on. It's been some kind of freak accident. Try and relax.
Yeah, it's a freak accident. Okay, got that. Durian over there. Maybe I could have gone in there, but problem is my briefcase. Do I really want to go all the way over there?
Ah, my knee is so sore.
Why is that?
I fell over because a homeless woman suddenly jumped out right behind me. She was hiding in a hole.
Now there's a crowbar around the corner, but coin here. Not really a wrench.
Rain, nothing but rain.
You can say that again.
Got it. Okay.
Well, at least someone is trying to help them out. There's this building where Hitman goes. I think that's
Okay.
Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chensi. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide on the facility tour.
I'm not gonna blow an explosion here right now because they will be.
Hungry and tired, and I want to
What
stay
in
home.
Yes, so sorry about your flight.
Come on! Why would you do that?
I don't feel great.
Wow.
No, who's gonna come in here?
Hey, are you okay? You definitely don't smell okay.
Come on.
Yeah, she's gonna come in here. See. And he's gonna. That's not gonna work. Fuck. I wish I could.
Have you seen a goat?
Put the durian there, but the restaurant back is a stash, so I cannot. That's what I was looking for, right? Yeah. Maintenance stairwell does not. No. Arcade. I think that's better. Because I'm going there anyway. So I might as well put the thing over there. Then I can just bring the durian. A seeker would be good. Yeah. That is also a good idea. So I will take a seeker. Because then I can control the order in which they get sick. Good call, good call. Okay. And then I can just go in, get that settled. Oh, but then I don't have to go.
Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
Shit. She said she needs me here.
It's a bit annoying that the wrench is so far away. Otherwise, I could get the two in one go. But yeah.
It would be nice to get some help.
Wow, really? That didn't work now. I probably sat too low and he didn't know where to go. So yeah.
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
I don't need that. Boom, 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 boom. Let's shoot the edge there. Okay.
Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chelsea. Pleased to meet you.
Oh no. Yeah, spot.
I need help! Someone! Come on!
I can't hold this down for
Just
long.
glad it's not me!
Please, there's been a horrible accident. We gotta get help right away.
Thanks for your help. I'll report you. Command, do you read me? Over. Got another accident.
Let's go, come on.
Man, affirmative. Bagging, tagging.
Micro taser.
You okay?
Okay. We're over here. Turn this on. Okay, let's go get the stuff over there. For those that don't know, there's a brick here and there's a key below that. And that will let you in here.
This is a restricted area.
Crap. Any disguise. I should have taken the disguise that's in the back of the arcade. Then they don't care. And doesn't matter which outfit I am anyway, so yeah.
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag?
Sorry.
No, I gotta do this. Because I already have a smuggle spot in use, so...
Really uncomfortable.
Shit. Was today's code? Okay. Jeez.
Sometimes she sees me there when she's trying to remember. Sometimes she doesn't. I wonder why that is. It's a bit random which way she's pacing, I guess.
Have you seen a girl around?
Why is that? Why?
Bright green bag?
Sorry.
Hey, dudes. Okay, okay. Maybe a bit closer here. Maybe if I shoot there, she will look over there and then... I don't get it. Why was that such a problem now?
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag?
Sorry.
Evil, yeah. Evil Morty.
Oh, this chef outfit really uncomfortable. I wish he didn't have to do all this.
Shit. Was today's code? 1, 3. No. Come on, think. 01. Definitely 01 something.
Whoa!
Okay.
Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm
This is definitely bad.
This is definitely bad. Okay.
Excuse me. Can I get some help over here, please?
Just glad it's not me.
I don't feel great.
She's already coming in. God damn it!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Doing it too quickly.
Have you seen a
Arrgh. Okay, this should be it. This should be it. Beautiful city.
Oh, this chef outfit really uncomfortable.
Shit. Was today's code? 1, 3. No. Come on, think. 01. Definitely 01 something.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Chen.
Oh, God, I don't feel so good.
Oh.
I can't hold this down for long.
Wait till she moves off a bit. So I have time to drown him. Because drowning takes like 10 years. Too early, too early. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Man, leave me going. Come in, command. Someone's causing trouble.
Why are they... Did they see me get the girl from here or something? God. Oh my god. I got wall hacked again. Sure, there's a big window there, but I was wall hacked.
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag?
Come on, go. IOI feature, yes, exactly. The chef saw you. And I did close the door. But yeah.
Chef outfit. Feeling uncomfortable.
Oh well. That's all in the past now. Yoink!
Hi,
What's coming?
Okay, I gotta go pee. So, I will be right back. Okay, let's get this done. This is turning out to be a bit of a pain in the ass. But yeah, we can plow through. I'm just making dumb mistakes.
Have you seen a girl around?
It's all on me.
Short hair with a bright green bag?
Oh. Do 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 do.
Chef outfit. Feeling uncomfortable.
Okay.
Shit. What's today's code? Huh?
Hey! Oh.
Snitch! Fucking hell. I'm really starting to dislike this lady.
Have you seen a girl around?
Okay, so what if we bullet distract her?
Sorry.
And then we can go over without her seeing us. Sometimes I can get it over just fine. Sometimes it's just... Nope.
I need help! Someone!
God damn it, man! Why?
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
Do.
What's today's code? That's pretty strange.
Okay.
Oh, okay then.
There we go. Knock her out. Yeah, but then I have to go through the trouble of hiding her. And I don't feel like doing that.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay, that's it, I guess.
Okay. I don't feel great.
She saw me there, but hopefully when I kill her, that should correct itself. Then my red gun should be gone.
For the love of God, someone help!
How does she see him over there? She sees his feet? You gotta be fucking kidding me, man.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Have you seen a girl around? Short hair.
Okay, so give it more time.
Sorry.
That's my flaw. I just wanna, because I know the routine at the beginning, I just wanna go fast, and that's not good. That's my downfall. It fucks me up so much. Just gotta take the time.
Default Donut just redeemed Sad John Bone.
She can't see this from here.
Help me! Hey, you there! I just saw this.
We need more men.
How does she see me from there? Sad trombone. Wah, wah, wah.
A girl around? Short hair with a bright green bag.
Sorry.
I'm looking over at my other screen to see.
That will affect your final payment.
Azure Archangel 829 just redeemed. How unfortunate.
What's today's code? Ugh, forget it.
There we go. Okay.
Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm...
Oh god, I don't feel so good.
Okay, I'm gonna go get I can't hold this down for long.
Okay, I'll just place this right here, just for now. Ah, where is she? Okay, going down the stairs. Okay. Okay. Now we should have enough time.
There's been an accident. Possible 415. Come in, command. Got it. Shutting down this
What?
Okay. Cool. Right. Now, go get the other stuff. My knee is so sore. Yeah, it's the rain, dude. Get that when you get older. Okay, so take the outfit. Now they should not be messing with me.
nothing but rain.
You can say that again.
Okay.
This day just keeps getting.
I'm forgetting my stash. Stuck.
What a.
Not sign up.
Okay.
What a terrible accident!
Do you think they're using more garlic, Nick? Something's different.
I don't think they've changed their recipes at this point. There's no reason to start messing with perfection.
Oh, they're the exact same. I think I know what it's supposed to taste like.
Don't have to eat it.
I don't want to bother anyone.
What? Sir, you dropped something. Huh?
Okay. Hey!
Why can't I sabotage the... Oh, over here.
That's the big one. Move in and take a look. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. We got it done. I know I wasn't talking too much, but yeah, I was kind of concentrating on what I had to do. Have you seen a girl around? Well, there's plenty of girls, but not with a green bag and short hair. Here we go. Thank you, Shardy. Whoop. There we go. Well, hopefully I did all the kills right.
I
Yep.
love it.
You love it. Thank you.
Azure Archangel Aid 29 just redeemed love.
Thank you, Azure. Azure Archangel. It's been a bit. Welcome. Happy Friday. Good morning to you, sir. It's afternoon for me. But yeah, time zones. Somebody at the front? Who the hell is that? Somebody at the door, but yeah, don't know. Okay, so what's next? It's been a while since I watched your streams. Yeah, it's the same, man. It's been a bit since the introduction of AC Shadows, I think. No, I don't need to do featured. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday so far. Let's see, what else? Oh, maybe there's something in the Discord. Let's see, Among Us Discord, contract IDs. Let's see, what else? What did the people have? APM challenge number 9. Oh, it's Drago. No, no, thank you. Balls. We can do that. Contract search. Let's see, balls. Dick and balls. Oh my god. Might be better. I think it's this one. Senior Stone? No. Probably not. So I will take the contract ID. It's probably better. Look up. There we go. A shrimpy. Okay, let's see what he's been cooking up. Yeah, nice name. I wasn't gonna read that out loud. But yeah. Show these people your balls. Have fun. Explosive device, Molotov, explosive device. I can't take that much explosive devices, so there should be somewhere. So there should be bombs on the map, right? Oh, are there in the security room? In that back room, are there bombs right there? Explosions, grenades or something? So I need a kaboom kaboom. Explosives. Oh, there's an explosive golf ball by the maintenance room I could get. And I need a Molotov cocktail. So that's also... It is an explosive, right? Well, in the game it's an explosive, but in real life it's just a fireball. Fireball. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, 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 doot. Yeah. Oh, that's for him. That's the pilot. I've got one. We got one explosive. I could smuggle one, but where? Since I'm near the chopper anyway, I could do one there. Explosive. Doesn't really matter what it is, right? Well, maybe I want to do something sneaky. So that's his explosive device. Got his his explosive, so I need something else. Let's just see. Explosive golf ball on the map. Yeah, I know it's near the maintenance corridor. Know exactly where it is. It's on top of a toolbox. But I can also see if there's like a. Oh, I don't think so. There's only guns in here. There's a gun in here. Yeah. They got a penthouse key card. Right. Okay, so the maintenance corridor is on the other side. Gotta work my way backwards. Oh, it's upstairs. Yeah. It's right there.
Hello. Yeah, just want to remind you about this. Someone is playing games with me, but I'm cool.
Oh, fuck me.
Who are you? Do I know you?
So maybe... Oh, and I can't open this because I don't have a key. Oh, I have the crowbar. Right. So it should be right here. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. Where are these people? Helipad and the rest is downstairs. Oh, I thought it would be one of the guys upstairs. Instead of going up to get the shit, I'm going down. Is this on the level of the... No, oh no. This is downstairs. If I start here, I'm going to go past the pilot anyway. Yes. This always takes an hour.
So are you telling me I can't do my job?
I'm sorry, the thing gets specific.
Okay. I can go out there to get to the golf ball. Let's go take care of this dude first.
I got it. Yeah, you know the guy's grumpy one who always wants peace and quiet. Yeah, I haven't seen him playing golf today.
Let's see. Get this. Get this. Did you unlock the crowbar? Yeah, I did. Okay. What was his problem? Explosive device. Crap. Okay, so let me think about this. He's upstairs. He's above me? What? Oh. So going down here might not have been the most great plan of all time. Oh dear God. I started right next to you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello to you too.
Shardy_waffles_ just redeemed Wilhelm.
Yeah. It's right there, you idiot. And that's unfortunate.
Am I imagining things now? Oh, what if this is a middle-age related country?
Bugger.
It was you. You did it, you murdering piece of shit. Red leader evidence. Engage your contact.
Okay, I'm gonna take the other breacher so I can drop it on the floor so he hears it and he comes in. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have time to deal with
Goodbye. No idea where he went. Okay, so now we can go down. Whoop. There we go. Do we need a crowbar? I don't know. I'll take it. Like this. Okay, cool. Put him back here before he's seen by the other guard. Yeah, that should be okay, I think. Okay. I think he is... Yeah, okay, and then him. Okay. Can I knock people out? Yeah, I can.
Hello there.
There's your pillow, sir. Hey, Dark Matter. Welcome. Just in case anybody gets out here. Cool. And now I need to go there.
Hey, you can't be here. Please do something. Oh yeah. Stop that.
How am I supposed to get up to work, sirs? Okay, so that is gotta be an explosive device. So Oh right, I forgot about the baseball. Right. Crap. I need to pick up the baseball from the... So the question is, which comes first? I could go down because... Yeah. That works. That would work.
This is mildly annoying to say the least.
Goodbye. Red guns. Crap. How? Oh, probably because I was lugging around with the running around with the Molotov cocktail.
This is just annoying.
Goodbye. People see him, okay. Because he bounces off that thing. So, maybe more that way. If I throw from here.
I don't have time to...
Echo Foxtrot to Uniform Zulu, over. Someone is setting up.
Do I really need to get him all the way over here? How come it worked first like 2 times and now it doesn't? What's the logic behind this? I don't get it. Let's try it like this then. Got it.
You're kidding me. What?
Gotta get the Yes, I know. I gotta get the golf ball, but the my other explosive is over here. So that's mine.
Brother-in-law. My wife persuaded him to stay. He hasn't complained since.
Okay. Now we can go down that hole and get right on the floor where the right into the chamber where the golf ball is. Whee! we go. Right.
It's me. I thought about what you said. Yeah, I changed my mind. It was an insane idea to start with.
Okay. Good. And then I should be able to, like, do this. Okay. There we go here. Okay, that should bring him over. Cool. God damn it! See, when you want the lock-on to work, it doesn't. Boink. There we go. Okay, and that leaves him. Where the hell is he even? Staff area. Oh, is he there with that lady smoking? Okay, so now change outfits. These won't get on my case. Hello, ladies. Here. Here's the stairs. Let's see. Yeah, see, he's the one smoking with the lady over there. Crap! I hate that it's a.
This is ridiculous. Someone else deal with this shit.
Crap. Fuck! Crap!
Riggedy wrecked, son!
So you get nothing. You lose.
Good day, sir. Okay, so the guy that's below the chopper pilot, I'm gonna use the golf ball on him and then go from there. So I can use the silent explosion on that dude.
Look, this is.
Okay, get you over here. Okay. Molotov. Goodbye. Why do people see that?
JHQ looks like an IED.
I don't see anybody that's panicking.
Roger that.
So why do they see the body? That's so annoying. Oh, it's a game of chance.
I don't have.
Got him. Avoid him. Okay.
Yeah. Why? Just wondered if you
Get
got
the
lockdown drill tomorrow.
I got it. Yeah, you know the guy's grumpy one always wants peace and quiet.
let's get the breacher charge over here. I know there's a better place I can stash it, but yeah. Like this. Let's see, there's coins over here.
Nah, he's my brother-in-law.
I don't know if I'll need them, but yeah. I'll take a coin. Probably don't need it, but... Oh, I could lure the guy, the crew member. Okay. No.
I thought about what you said. Yeah, I changed my mind. It was an insane idea to start with. Exploding golf ball. I don't want blood on my hands.
Crap, I lost my bearing. Where the hell do I need to go? On left. Yeah, over there. I don't know. I had a brain fart.
Hello.
Hello. I wish there was a box up here or something where you can hide in, but okay, it is what it is.
Hey, who is throwing stuff around here? Come on!
Looks like we're good.
Okay. Oh, I should have taken his outfit. Crap. Because I'm trespassing here. Crap. How's the chopper pilot outfit? Not much better, right? Okay. Okay. Why can't I go there? Why can't I move over to this? That's fucking annoying.
Hey, you! Stop that!
Oh, I'm not... I thought it was trespassing here. Crap. Okay. Now.
And everyone just looked the other way like, oh god, this isn't happening, really? Oh, no, not now. Whatever.
There we go. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. And we're done.
Ah, sir. Hello.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, somebody asked about the crowbar. Shardy. Let's see. Career. Nope. Career. Inventory. Gear. Tools. It should be here. Titanium crowbar. Here it is. The purple sea crowbar. Cracks locks and deliver hard knocks. All in a shade of purple that pops. Yeah. We've got it. It's just a reskin of this, of course. But yeah. You can go all purple. Let's see. Fishing problems. Morphka. Iffy. James Bond. Oh, let's do one. Wednesday on top of the world. I think that's James. Okay, let's do one by Aussie Girl. Let's see. No. Game modes, contracts, and then look up. See what Aussie girl has cooked up. James. James. Jade dagger, antique curved knife, measuring tape, explosion, and slapdash SMG. Okay. So, jade dagger. Jade dagger. Antique curved knife. Oh, I guess I have to pick that up from... Let's see, jade dagger, antique curved knife. Oh, that's that one. Oh, carved, not curved. You idiot! I was looking for a... There it is. Measuring tape. Okay. Guess I'll put it over there. Tools. Oh, that's a melee. Measuring tape is a tool. So why is it not under... Okay, measuring tape. So I have to get an SMG. Is he carrying an SMG by any chance? And an explosion accident. Okay, so... Okay, and there's only one starting point, I guess. Oh, I can start here. That's new. DFL the Soul 9. We'll start over there. We'll see. We'll see what that brings us. So the only thing I'm missing is an SMG. Oh, but I don't need... Okay. I'm an idiot. Replan. Because these days you can also put an SMG in. Slapdash SMG. Right. And that's what it says over here, the slapdash. An explosion, I can just pick up a propane tank. I think there's one or two in the sewers. Oh, there's one. Okay, I know where's one. Where the super fan is. There should be a couple of propane tanks even, I think. What was his thing? Oh, he's the SMG. Okay. Let's see, were the... No. Oh, then it's over here. Yeah. Oh, are there any suit restrictions? No, any... Oh, he's any disguise and the... Suit, yeah, so might as well stay in the suit. Okay. Let's see, I think... Huh. Let's see, what if I... Ooh, what if I switch to this? Then I'm not trespassing. How are they liking me? I thought there were propane tanks here, but I guess I'm mistaken. That's a bit of a bummer. Oh, wait. I know. I said it before. There's propane tanks right here. There we go. What you're saying it for the insecticide? Yeah, could be. But I have my propane tank, so I can change. Good. Let's see. And they are... And welcome, Necromech. Let's see, they're all over here. Okay. So I can get out of here. Okay, what is his problem? Jade Dagger. Throne even. Okay. Close this. Can I close it? Oh, there's no door here.
Man, I swear, these sort of things happen more to me than anybody else. I don't want to say I'm cursed or anything. Really?
I don't have a coin. That's a bit of a shame. They don't care, okay. I want to get him in the box here, so...
Don't let this get to you, man. Calm and
Smile. Calm and smile. Okay. Empty carved knife. No, he's the Jade Dagger. Okay, Jade Dagger.
Hey, anyone there?
Okay. Got him. Clean up my mess. Okay, who's next? He's close to me upstairs. Fiber wire. Okay, so let's go upstairs. Oh, he's right over there. Tape measure. Oh, you can't go in there. Oh, was there a... Oh, must be in the other version of the map. I thought there was something useful in there. Okay. Next to my left. Oh, over there. What are you? Accidental explosion.
Hey, who's gonna clean that up, huh? Your mother doesn't work here, man candy.
He's a smoker.
You're in trouble,
Oh, do not get spotted. Oh, all shots fired at NPCs must be headshot. Oh my god. Crap. Okay. Well, at least I know what to do now. Right. Darn, yeah. Oh well, shit happens. And that's why we start again. It's getting a bit dark. My screen's getting a bit dark. There. That's a bit bright. Okay, turn it down a bit more, like this. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Woo! I wait for him. There he comes. Hey? Oh my god. That is... that is annoying. Because I need to use the slapdash. You gotta be very, very careful with your shots. Otherwise, they miss. At least one bullet miss. So I gotta keep it as short a burst as possible. Like really tap it. And probably aim a bit below the neck. Or on his neck so that they're all headshots. That is annoying, man. It's the only one, right? SMG, yeah, the rest is other things. Yeah, it's an annoying restriction. Because especially because I need to shoot at the head. Because I want to shoot at the head. Does it need to be headshots? Yeah. Oh, that's what... Yeah, okay, so that's my complication, of course. And I really just tapped the button. Okay. I'm gonna get the propane tank.
Can you please get out of my face?
Wrong way again. Sometimes you're an idiot when you're playing this game. Need to be over here. There we go. Okay, change back into my suit. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do the explosion guy just yet because that will upset him. Oh, this is Dagger dude, right? Yeah. I don't know how busy it gets, if anybody gets down here. But if I blow one of these guys up, it's a good chance I'm creating a panic and then you don't know where they're going.
Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Are there coins here? No. I removed the entire table, okay.
Man, I swear, these sort of things happen more to me than anybody else. I don't want to say I'm cursed or anything, but really,
Yeah, you're cursed.
Come on.
Cursed, I tell you.
What? Command, you heard a strange noise.
Let's see, Jade Dagger. Jade Dagger, okay, so he can't see me throw it at him.
Who made that noise?
Okay. Propane tank. I don't need the jade dagger anymore, so I cannot fuck it up. Okay. Now. Crap! Leave that there. Yeah, I might as well start over. I forgot to pick up my tape measure. Because going all the way back and down, it's faster to restart. Wow, 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 wow.
I know you're there.
Okay. Propane tank. There we go. Now. Oh, good. He's going here. Okay. Okay, so I think I can do it in 2 lures, and he's going to be over there.
Hello there.
Wait till the question mark disappears. I know if you're using coins, and you can just lure him again and again before his question mark goes away. But yeah.
We might have a situation. I'll check the perimeter. Over.
Let's see, no, jade dagger. Okay. Gun, I don't want anybody going around. Oh, fuck.
Look, you need to teach this jerk some manners. He's messing everyone's shit up.
I hear you. I'll take care of it.
Crap.
Man, I have arrived at the location and it looks clear. Over.
Let's put this over here. Because that's where I'm going to go. Measuring tape. Why the hell did he turn around? I hate that. They do a 180 in like 0.2 of a second. Oh, okay. What time is it anyway? Oh, don't really have much time left. That's rough, yeah it is. And welcome Aussie Fez. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, he's busy so I can pick up my measuring tape. Cool. Now. Okay, he's coming. Oh, wrong way. This way. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Aussie.
Oh yeah.
Aussie.
You gotta get swifty. You gotta get swifty in here. It's time to get swifty.
Cool. Thank you. How's the runs going? Going pretty well. I'm doing some user contracts, user-made contracts, because I did all the other stuff. So yeah, I'm having fun with that. It is this one is finicky, but it's Hitman for you. Sometimes everything works just fine, and sometimes you get spotted through walls. They don't. Sometimes they're deaf. Sometimes somebody else reacts when you don't want it to. It can be a pain in the ass. So yeah, but yeah, that's all part of the fun, I guess. You know the feeling. Restrictive, to put it nicely. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of a cold, so that's why I sound a bit weird. Somebody was at the door. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Yeah. Crap, I was just too late. Oh, he's coming already. Okay, cool.
Hello? Advance to be recognized.
Advance to be recognized.
Possible intruder. Sweeping area.
Oh.
Over.
Crap, I'm in the...
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I was in the wrong suit. Yeah, and I would have to go back. And since I only had one target done yet, might as well restart again. Of course. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Measuring tape. Hey, thank you so much for the subscription. Penny, welcome. Happy Friday. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful Friday.
Rick D-A-H-I Rick D-A hype.
Hi, hype. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day, Penny. Everybody go check out Penny too. She's wonderful to watch. Real pleasure. Always having fun. so good. Oh. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. Don't forget to change back. Okay. Well, well, well. Okay. 43, yeah. Really running out of time. You're about to start Alan Wake 2. Nice. Penny did Alan Wake 2. She had a lot of fun. Yeah. So have fun with that, Aussie. Looks like a great game. I haven't played it myself yet, so yeah. But I've seen other people play parts.
Anyone there?
And
Man, thought I heard something. Checking it out. Over.
Jade Dagger. Okay. It goes in here. You have more luck than I did. It just found it too difficult. Yeah. But, yeah. There's reasons for that. But I don't know if is there a difficulty slider or a setting on Alan Wake, or is it just one setting? There we go. Put you here. I'll try it on hard and see how it goes. That's the spirit. So our smoker, there we go. Okay, so how am I gonna do him? Crap, I cannot go in here. Oh crap, I can't even go in there. I thought there was a crowbar up here. Crap.
Oh my god!
See, he's coming here. Crap! Same, I'm biting my tongue. I played Alan Wake with the hardest difficulty. I'm not sure if there's even a more difficult level if you have played the game once. Okay. Backseating urge. I have it on story mode, which is easy. It was still hard for me. So much frustrating trying to figure out what I was meant to be doing. Okay, so it's one of those things. Oh, that's puzzles. But yeah, you don't know where to go. Getting lost in the woods. Going in circles here. Oh, this is getting on my nerves. I'd love to have a crowbar or something. So I can open that one door and I can lure him in. Okay. Yes, go there, please. Maybe I can look around if there's a crowbar over there. Okay. Got as far as the underground arena. There's no leading you at all. Have to figure out the self-trial and error. Yeah. Yeah, I see how that can be frustrating. Okay. Hello. Let's see. No crowbars here. Okay. That's a bit of a shame. There we go. Okay. Was there a crowbar with the with these dudes by any chance? No. Not that I can remember. Oh, now he's here.
Anyone there? Answer.
The strangest noises. Go look. Please take all the time you need. Oh my god. Hurry up, dudes.
Hello?
Yes?
Man, just heard a strange noise. I'm gonna check it out.
Jade Dagger.
Please stand by.
Okay. Go up here. Yeah. Measuring tape. I wish there wasn't I wish there was like 2 different buttons to do that, like choke him out or use your weapon. But yeah, they had to like do it all in one, so that's really annoying. Okay. So here's the last problem I need.
What? Sir, don't throw stuff around.
Yeah.
See what the hell that was. Good. Acknowledged.
Oh, maybe I can go in through here? No, that leaves me in a different building.
Man, I got nothing to report from my current location. Over.
Okay. Needs an antique carved knife. There we go.
I really can't bother with this right now.
There's nightmare mode after you've finished the game once. Haven't tried that out. Oh my god, nightmare mode. Playing it's like nightmare mode on there's a crowbar right here. On Doom. Oh my god. Ultra Nightmare is a nightmare. Yeah, this Ultra Violence, yeah. Nightmare mode. GG's, thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. That should be it. Okay. Oh, beat Shardy. Wow. 3/4 of a minute. Well done, James. Closing time, James. Okay, so, well, that is going to have to be it for me today because, yeah, I gotta go start dinner. And let's see who is alive. I know a lot of you are probably here for the drop. I don't know, most of you probably already have them. I am going to drop you off at... Okay, so Red is not playing today. Seth. Yeah, let's go to Sephiroth. He's also playing Hitman. He is playing Freelancer, so yeah, let's go say hi. And thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for hanging out. You're gonna go say hello. And I hope you guys will have a great weekend. I don't think I can stream this weekend. We usually can't, so... Yeah, so... Sunday, oh, Sunday is my son's birthday celebration, so that's out and tomorrow maybe, but I don't think so. So, I'll see you guys next Friday, and yeah. Happy Friday, and have a good weekend. See you guys later. Bye now.